and welcome to our T800 podcast. Remember to catch us on the first Thursday of every month for our look through what's coming up and to discuss the build so far. So, first things first, we have finished the arm. Now I had problems with this joint here, the big joint. Loads of people did. I'm glad that we've moved away from that now. Also, lots of people have started receiving the gun, which is all good. Everyone's really happy. I also see that people are selling them online for ridiculous money, but there you go. Obviously, the head, we still haven't finished. I'll come on to the head in just a minute because I don't think we're going to be finishing the head for some time now. But it is what it is, so that needs to be put to a side. And over the last couple of weeks, we have been building our shoulder up and starting on our left side. So yeah, also as well, it's worth noting that I have had no issues in collecting my issues. So I've got 26, 27 and 28. 29 is obviously next week, but I haven't had an issue picking up my issues. I know some people have had issues picking up issue 26 and issue 28. We've had a bank holiday as well, and that does muck up deliveries for everything. It's worth noting that I also collect the Route Master Bus build, which I don't do on my channel, but I still collect it. And that was also, I have also missed issues on that. Issue 79, that came out when issue 26 did, wasn't there. And issue 80, I actually picked up issue 79 and 80 the week later. So it was sort of like there was a backlog. It's worth noting as well that I haven't been able to pick up issue 81, which comes out at issue 28. So I picked up my T800, but I couldn't pick up my Route Master. It wasn't there. Just wasn't there. It's also worth noting that they're both done by the same company. So I don't know. I've also seen rumours that there was, someone said that there were production issues for issue 26, which is, I don't know where they got the information from, but I got mine fine, so there was no production issue for me, unless they just didn't have enough stock. I couldn't really tell you, but I think it was down to they probably didn't have enough stock in. But like I said, for some reason, especially if a bank holiday falls at the end of the month, it causes mayhem with subscribers and deliveries to shops and everything else. So yeah, everyone's got their rifle. So everyone's got the plasma rifle now, which is good. I know that was an issue. People weren't too sure. I'm really glad that we got it. I can only report on what I know and what I see. And when I saw it at MCM, and I asked the guy at the desk, he told me that they had trouble fitting the gun in the hand. Loads of people haven't, and I'm really happy for that. For me personally, I won't be getting the gun. It's also worth noting that they do appear with two guns as well. So whether you want to get another one or not, it's up to you. I've also seen them on eBay going for ridiculous money, but obviously if you want it, you're going to pay for it. It's demand. So that's that. Also as well, it's worth noting about the floppy fingers, as I would call them, the floppy fingers. The replacements have been sent out. There's a few things to point out about that. Firstly, it doesn't matter if you're a weekly subscriber or a monthly. You just have to request them. Now, I've seen people email them and stuff like that. I found it much quicker to go through their Facebook page. Now, not directly through Hachette. You have to go directly through the Terminator Facebook page itself. When you contact Hachette, they get confused. And I know some people that have contacted Hachette directly and they have got confused on what you're talking about. So my advice would be to go to the Facebook page. Now, obviously, if you don't have access to Facebook, I would then email the company. But I know that some people who have emailed the company have sort of got mixed results. But I know everyone that has contacted them through Facebook has had the replacements sent. You saw my video with the replacements. They're just little tubes that go in and out. And they replace the pin as well. Like I said before, I saw a lot of people trying to buy the the sleeves, but the problem was with the pins that we put in were too big anyway, because they've made the pins smaller. So I think there would have been an issue there, you trying to fit them yourself, but you can go ahead. Like I said, there was a lot of solutions out there: pliers, glue, blue tack, everything. And if your fingers are already fine and you're okay with it, then leave it. The worst thing you could probably start doing is pulling stuff apart. You'll just make it worse. In regards to mine, I've left mine in a fist because that's how I want it. But I will not touch this hand again now. I'm frightened something will come off, something will loose. You know what I mean? So I'm just leaving it. So yeah, coming up in the next couple of issues. So issue 29, issue 30, issue 31, and 32. I know what's coming up in all of them. It's all to do with the left shoulder. There is some more detail coming out for the right, but it looks like we're focusing more on the left shoulder. So it says we connect stuff to the left shoulder in the magazines, but it also says that we're doing stuff to the right as well. So I would imagine that we will be fitting pipes and wires and all this sort of stuff onto these sections just here, as well as constructing the shoulder for our left side. Now, when I looked through them to see what was coming out in the next 4 issues, it looks like we're basically constructing the left shoulder exactly how we've done here. Now, it doesn't say about the arm, the left arm, or anything like that. So the next 4 issues, it's concentrating on the left shoulder and some more bits onto this right one as well. We may end up connecting our arm to this shoulder and still doing some more on the left as well. But it looks like going forward we're doing more on the left hand side of it. And then I would imagine going down. So we'll do the shoulder, then the forearm, then the arm, then the hand. That's what we've got. So there is no more issues coming out for the next 4 weeks anyway. Until I do the next video next month, we'll be concentrating on the left hand side of the shoulder. So there's nothing for the head, and very little for this sort of side as well. And really that's it. There was a lot of questions asked about the fingers and the rifle. They have all been sorted now. Once again, I will say, if you're a subscriber, you still haven't received your issues. Like I said, there's always problems when there is a bank holiday. So they normally take a few days longer or a week longer than they normally would. So it's worth noting there. But obviously, keep dropping them a little message on Facebook, just to make sure that they know that you haven't received them. Because I know that can be an issue with some people receiving, just to make sure you're keeping up. Now, Hachette are very good at getting stuff out, but like I said, like with most companies, when the bank holiday comes along, it throws everything in the air, and no one really knows what's going on. But yeah, as in terms of the T100, it's coming along really nicely. We're building up the shoulder now. We've done the arm. We're building up the shoulder. We're doing the left shoulder in the next 4 issues. So by the time we speak again, hopefully we'll have our left and our right shoulder looking remarkably like this. And then we're going to have to see where we start next. I would imagine that we'll go down the arm, so it'll be the pistons, the arm, the wrist, the hand, all that sort of stuff in the next couple of issues. Why are we not returning to the head? It's similar why I believe it took so long for this to be done, because you could just display just the arm. As you know, in the Terminator films, especially in T2, there is just the arm and his little microchip. And I know a lot of people, well, a lot of companies produce the skull, and by not supplying bits to need it to be complete, meaning you're forced to carry on subscribing. So I know there may be some people out there that will get the skull, get the head, and then call it a day. I've got the bit that I need, and it is fairly cool. And some people will probably just want the head and maybe just the arm to display. So by keeping the head like this, it means you'll probably be more willing to subscribe to carry on, meaning you'll be left with quite a lot of parts before this is completed. It's also worth noting that I don't think it's going to be fitted just yet. I think it's going to be quite some time. So in actual fact, there's no need to, and obviously all this is all enclosed as well. So there'll be a battery pack and obviously the circuit board going here. But once the back of the skull is on and we've got those bits, there's no more need to work on this, and it'll just be lying around. So I think it'll be a while before this gets finished and before we put it on. I may be wrong, but that's the feeling I get. Obviously, if you've done part works before, you will know that you have parts lying all over the place. The R2-D2, if anyone remembers doing that, we had the head, the two arms built but not put on the body, and then we built the body and we didn't actually stick the legs at the side on, even though they were complete months ago. We didn't stick it on until right near the end, and the head went on very last, even though once again that was completed months before. So we done the two arms, the two legs just here, then we done the head, and then we done the body, and none of it got all connected until very near the end. So do not expect this to be complete or be attached to the T800 until near the end. Just like, so I feel that we'll probably end up having two arms, two legs, and then when we build the body, we'll then start connecting it all. So be prepared that you'll be storing the arms, the two legs, going forward. I wonder if we'll probably get the chest before the legs, maybe, or we'll get the chest but won't connect the legs on for a while, won't do anything with the chest. We don't know. But if it goes like any other build, like this one and the Millennium Falcon as well, if you remember doing the Millennium Falcon, we had the bottom and the top half separate until right near the very end where we put them together. And we done, I think it was up to issue 50, we had already completed the top, and then we started on the bottom, and it wasn't until around near issue 96 or 7 we didn't put them together, even though they were both complete, because we were putting a lot of stuff on the inside and stuff like that. So it is worth noting that the part works do this, where they have well, we'll probably have quite a lot of the bits lying around before we stick it all together. So just keep that in mind when you come in to store it and stuff like that. Just make sure you have either a specific box to put it all in, so it all sits in this box really nicely. But just remember that this thing will probably be in all parts before we start sticking it together. Like I said, we might not even stick the arm to the shoulder for some time. So it's worth noting that we might end up having two arms, two shoulders, and other bits lying around before we actually even fit them all together. So that's worth noting as well. Yeah, just keep enjoying the build. It's a really nice one. It's not, there's not a lot of stuff to do in each issue, which I know bums a lot of people out, but they have to keep the numbers going. We discussed that in the last video. But yeah, we're just struggling along now. We're just chugging along. We're getting there. We're starting on the left side now. Hopefully next month we might say, oh, we're going to start doing the leg, or we might going to start doing the chest. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the next 2 months, 2 or 3 maybe, we'll be constructing more of the arm and the leg. You've got to think that we're up to issue 20 now, and it's taken over 10 issues to do just the one arm. So I would imagine it will probably be around the 10 issues to do the next one. So I would imagine the next couple of issues will be just that. It's also worth noting that they haven't, since we started doing the majority of this arm and the shoulder, we haven't actually swapped. Now at the start we were, as you know, we were back and forward. So 1 week we would do bits to this, next week we'd do bits for that, week after a bit for this, the week before we do bits for both. But now we're getting into the stride of it. So it looks like we're concentrating on one section at a time, which is good. But like I said, it means lots of parts lying around, like the head, the arm and the shoulder. But I don't expect the arm to be connected to the shoulder anytime. So it might be in the next couple of issues, but by going through and having a look, it doesn't look that way. It doesn't say we'll connect the arm to the shoulder. It says we'll get more parts for the right shoulder and start constructing the left shoulder. So over the next 4 issues, so issue 29, issue 30, issue 31, 31 and 32, it's all to do with the left shoulder. It's all to do with the left side. Like I said, there are some bits coming for the right side. It does say we put this part on the right side and then we construct this on the left side. So it looks like a lot of the stuff that we're getting is for the left side. But that's really it. I mean, there's, like I said, there's no more to talk about. We've covered everything. People have got replacements for the fingers. Like I said, the best place to go is Facebook. But email them anyway, and you can be a subscriber or non-subscriber. They will send it to you. It's worth noting that when I requested the finger replacement parts, that they arrived the same week I asked for them. I asked for them on the Tuesday, and by the Thursday I'd received it in the post in an envelope. So they are very quick at getting them out. So I have to thumbs up for that one, because that's really quick getting parts out as well. So that's really good. Like I said as well, remember that there isn't now a bank holiday now until after Christmas, way after Christmas. So we shouldn't have a problem with subscribers getting their issues. But obviously Christmas will be a problem for subscribers. I don't see a problem with weekly collectors. They may get the issue early. What tends to happen if the issue comes out Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or Boxing Day, we tend to get it before. So just keep that in mind. It will come out maybe before. It tends to be before, not after. That's what I've always found out with doing these builds, is that if a part comes out before Christmas or during the Christmas, it comes out before, not after. So say if the part is due on, say, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve or Boxing Day, it tends to come out before then. Even if it's due the day after Boxing Day, it tends to be before. So it means that that week we may end up getting an issue, say, on the Wednesday and then the Friday, depending on what they do and when it comes out over Christmas. I haven't ever looked that far, but just keep that in mind. Obviously, the Christmas break and the bank holidays muck deliveries up for subscribers. So just keep that in mind when you're saying there's anyone received their issues. Just remember that the bank holidays, just remember the bank holidays and the Christmas period do muck up those deliveries as well. Also, as well, I thought I'd just let you in on this. I work for Royal Mail, and they are balloting people on the 14th of September for strike action. Now, if the strike action goes ahead, it will most likely be in December. Okay? Obviously, they're hoping it won't. But if they are, and they do plan to strike, it will be probably over the Christmas period. So keep that in mind. Like I said, they're balloting people on the 14th of this month, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to strike over. That they're going to strike. They might come to a deal. Obviously, I can't tell you what it's about. All I can say is that they're being balloted to strike action on the 14th, and if it goes ahead, they will probably want to cause as much disruption as possible. So that would probably be over the Christmas period, over December. So just keep all that in mind. We'll obviously discuss it nearer the time, but just a heads up that's happening. And if you work for Royal Mail, you should already know, and you'll probably know what it's about as well. But I don't want to say. But just keep all this in mind. I will be doing obviously another video, so my next video will be October, so near Halloween. So I might do a Halloweeny special, or I don't know yet. But yeah, so we've covered the gun, we've covered the next couple of issues coming out, and we've covered the fingers as well. All it is for me to now. Okay, so before I go, I'm going to read out some comments that were on the last video. Remember, if you want me to answer any comments or you want me to talk about anything on the next show, drop a message at the bottom of this video. I will respond and we'll get them up as well. So first things first, it's SE666. I hope I'm saying that right. Did both halves of the legs look die cast because of the tops of the arms? When I saw it at MCM, they do look die cast, but then again, it was behind a glass. I had a few messages come up as well saying, did I get a picture of the back? of it. There was lots of people about, and it was against a back wall, so getting a picture of the back was very, very difficult. So I was only able to get a picture of it standing, and the thighs do look die cast, and I would imagine they're very heavy because they're quite a big part. They are even bigger than the actual arms. They're quite big, so I'm hoping that they're die cast, and they looked die cast. But obviously we'll see that as and when it comes out. The Underdanger, he said also 130. I thought it was only 120. It is 120. Last week I got confused because I'm doing the Root Master as well, which is 130 issues, and because I've got so many going on, I get a bit confused, just like everybody else. So I just got confused. But it is 120, not 130, so don't panic. But yeah, if you want to see the pictures, I did post them on our Facebook groups of the build, the full build. It's worth noting as well, it was the prototype, not the build that we are building. That is different. Only very slightly in terms of stuff that it's got on it, maybe in terms of die cast and things like that. So with me saying I hope the thighs are die cast, I do hope they are. They look die cast, but the one that I saw on display was the prototype. So once again, they may change that. But in terms of this thing, I also want to point out, the Terminator will not stand on its own. The Sideshow ones, the Prime one, and the Hot Toys ones do not stand unaided. They cannot, because of the skeletal structure of it. They're top heavy on all of them, and they all need some sort of support to get them to stand. In fact, even the models themselves, the ones they used on set, needed support because they were unable to stand and move on their own. So don't expect this thing to stand on its own. With the legs looking die cast or not, it doesn't really matter because it'll be supported by something anyway. So I just want to point that thing out there as well. But yeah, I didn't get a photo of the back. Like I said, there was a backboard. There's lots of people about, and I couldn't really get a picture right in the corner to have a look at the back of it. We were walking around and I saw it, and I took one. I think I took 3 shots of it. It was very quick. It was very busy, and so I wasn't able to get the shots maybe I would or should have got. But I was only there for one day, and yeah, so it is what it is, I'm afraid. Sorry, I should have actually done a video as well. But in the heat of the time and stuff like that. Another one on last month was about the plasma gun. Now we know it, and it is very, very light, and it can hold it. It all depends on the fingers, obviously. Personally, I won't be getting it. Like I said, my Terminator will be based on the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Arnold Terminator that we saw in T1. So he didn't have the plasma rifle with him, so I won't neither. That's just that. We also said about the floppy fingers and stuff like that. Remember, if you want me to answer any of the questions, just send us a link, send us a message, shall I say, under this video. So under this video now, and I will shout them out, and I'll talk about them next time. So in the next video next month, I will talk about it. So anything you want to know, maybe in terms of deliveries or how the builds come along. I personally love the build, and I think it's really good, and you know, it's going to have its ups and downs. We've done these builds. I've done these builds. There are ups and downs with these builds. They are not perfect in any shape of the imagination. Obviously, you can mod them as much as you like. That is your decision. That is up to you. But I still think that they're worth the money and the time that we put in. But anyway, that is us here at the Nexus. Remember to get your questions and comments. Make sure you put down below on this video for next time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next video.